25-month-old toddler. Has your 25-month-old started to exert her independence? We're talking about stomping, screaming, defying, and all those other frustrating and totally normal for this age behaviors. 2-year-olds are possibly the most stubborn, self-centered creatures on earth. They want what they want when they want it, usually right now. The good news is your child's stubborn streak means she's going through a ton of cognitive growth. She now understands that she's a separate person who can make things happen in the world. So of course she's making them happen. Rest assured that eventually she'll get less, dramatic. In addition to his sometimes frustrating personality, your 25-month-old's body and brain continue to grow and develop in a variety of ways. Average weight for a 25-month-old is around 27.1 pounds for girls and 28.4 pounds for boys. Average height is around 34 inches for girls and 34.5 inches for boys, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. 26-month-old toddler. By 26 months old, most kids have a vocabulary of 50 words or more and can combine 2 words into a simple sentence, like "Mommy, eat" or "more cracker." Keep on chatting and your kid will keep learning. If he isn't saying anything yet, or if strangers can't understand anything he says, it's a good idea to check in with his pediatrician just to make sure everything's okay. Remember, developmental delays caught early can be more easily overcome. 2-year-olds all grow and develop at different rates, but as long as yours is on the upswing with the growth charts and with learning new words and skills, there's probably nothing to be concerned about. Average weight for a 26-month-old is around 27.4 pounds for girls and 28.7 pounds for boys. Average height is around 34.3 inches for girls and 34.8 inches for boys, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. 27-month-old toddler. Have you noticed your child acting differently when she's outside of your home? Maybe your usually outgoing kid hides behind your legs when strangers are around. Or maybe she's an angel at daycare and a troublemaker at home. This inconsistency is completely normal at this age. 2-year-olds adapt their behavior to their environment and toward whether or not they trust certain people. Unfortunately for you, trusting you means she's more likely to push your buttons. As your 27-month-old grows and learns new skills, you'll find her making a ton of changes. Average weight for a 27-month-old is around 27.8 pounds for girls and 29 pounds for boys. Average height is around 34.6 inches for girls and 35.1 inches for boys, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. 28-month-old toddler. Your toddler is all over the place, isn't he? Now he can run and climb and move astonishingly quickly. So even though you baby-proofed when he was little, you'll want to do it again now. Make sure bookcases and dressers are secured to the wall, since a climbing 2-year-old can easily cause tall, heavy furniture to topple. Yikes! Sharp or dangerous objects such as knives should be secured well out of reach. 2-year-olds are curious about everything, and they can get their hands on more than you may realize. You're probably finding your 28-month-old is changing quickly, developing new skills and some adorable and sometimes challenging personality traits. Average weight for a 28-month-old is around 28.1 pounds for girls and 29.3 pounds for boys. Average height's around 35 inches for girls and 35.4 inches for boys, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. 29-month-old toddler. Between the ages of 2 and 3, kids undergo a language explosion. Their vocabulary undergoes massive expansion, and they begin to understand its nuances. For example, he may have started calling himself I or me, which means he's beginning to get pronouns. That's a huge cognitive leap. Encourage his language development by reading to him. Rhythmic and repetitive stories are a huge hit right now. Sing together and chat while you play. As your 29-month-old grows, she's learning tons of new skills. Average weight for a 29-month-old is around 28.4 pounds for girls and 29.6 pounds for boys. Average height is around 35.3 inches for girls and 35.7 inches for boys, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. 30-month-old toddlers. Your toddler is 30 months, aka 2.5 years old. Many pediatricians like to see kids around 30 months for a well-child visit. That's because a lot of development occurs between ages 2 and 3, and it's important to check things out at the midpoint. The doctor will probably ask how many words your child says. She'll ask about motor skills too, and may even ask your child to demonstrate some of his, such as walking and jumping. This could be a fun visit. The 30-month checkup is the place where growth and development are checked to be sure a child is making progress as expected. Average weight for a 30-month-old is around 28.8 pounds for girls and 29.9 pounds for boys. Average height is around 35.6 inches for girls and 36 inches for boys, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control.